Hey everyone, welcome to Hustle and Faith. I am your host, Tasha Johnson, and in today's podcast, we're going to talk about how to watch what you say. So many of us don't know or fail to realize that our words have power, and that's Proverbs 18:21. If we use our words to blame God for our situation, that means we don't have faith that He can or will help us resolve our circumstance. So our faith is what makes our words powerful. Our circumstances may appear bleak, but we can't let our circumstances dictate our response. 2 Corinthians 5:7 teaches us that. And so if we don't watch what we say, then we're going to limit God's ability to help us. Mark 6, verses 5 through 6. So when I sat back and thought about some of the storms that I experienced last year, I was able to identify that I was the problem. I could clearly see that some of those storms came ashore because I failed to speak life. I literally spoke my fears into existence. So, why should God help me if I think my circumstances are too big for Him to handle? Now, if you don't want your words to hinder you from receiving God's help, then it's important to do the following. Calm down. Life doesn't always go according to plan. This is a difficult concept to explain to children, but it really shouldn't be that hard when you're an adult. So I get that anger may be your first reaction. Trust me, I've been there myself. But if you're trying to watch what you say, then you need to have some mechanism in place to help you calm down. So what I've been doing, and I'm serious about this, guys, I've literally been teaching myself to count to 10 before I say anything out loud. Okay, if I'm in a situation that I can feel the anger bubbling up, I count to 10 before I say anything, because I don't want to make things harder for myself by speaking death. I want my words to manifest life. Another thing that I want to make sure that you do is to pray, okay? Whenever you encounter a difficult situation, the first thing you need to do is pray. When you attempt to rely on your own resources, you're going to be sorely disappointed, okay? Because our power is limited, but God's is infinite. However, you can only access it with prayer. So prayer changes everything. I don't believe in coincidences or being lucky. There have been several instances in my life, especially last year, where I know that it was definitely Him that brought me through that situation, okay? Prayer is what keeps me blessed. Third, let it go, guys, okay? If you've done all that you can do, then God commands us in Matthew 6:25 through 34 not to worry. The struggle is real when it comes to not worrying about a situation, okay? I get it, especially if it's a particular dark situation. You want to get it resolved as soon as possible. So asking God for help doesn't make sense if you still insist on carrying your burden, okay? Matthew 11:28 through 30 teaches us that. And so learning how to let go is going to teach you how to be patient, and it's going to indicate to God that you trust Him. Okay? And you can look at Hebrews 11:6 on that. So last but not least, guys, and this may be very difficult, and I get it, but get some rest. Whenever I encounter a difficult situation, it causes me to feel anxious, I'm scared, I'm impatient. On several occasions, there have been times that I have stayed up all night trying to figure out how to resolve a problem. The irony is, somehow in my attempt to resolve the problem, I end up having more questions than answers. So imagine the frustration on that one, right? But as I've gotten older, I'm able to identify that this type of behavior means that I need to sleep. And that's the last thing that you think that you're able to do, but it's exactly what you need, okay? When you're going through a rough time, your sleep quality tends to deteriorate because you've got a lot on your mind. But that's also the problem. You're not getting any sleep. So in the Bible, Elijah was having major problems with Ahab and Jezebel, and he literally longed for death. And you can read more about this story in 1 Kings 19, verses 5 and 7 through 7. So instead, God gave him the opportunity to sleep and eat, and he was good as new. The last meal enabled him to travel 40 days and 40 nights until he reached his destination. Sometimes when you're tired, you tend to make your problems larger than what they are. They may seem insurmountable, but that's because you're relying on your strength. Don't forget, God has your back. Now, if you remember all of the above, you're going to be able to easily watch what you say, and your words will have no choice but to manifest life. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts and comments about today's podcast. Feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much, guys, for taking the time out to listen to Hustle and Faith. I'll see you in the next podcast. Take care.